Good morning once again, class. The previous class we studied about the welfare state and what is welfare state, though it is not clearly mentioned in the directive principles, but then the government is moderately responsible for maintaining a social or a welfare, not a social but a welfare state for its nationals or the citizens of the nation. Now we studied about social equality and justice, and then we studied about economic welfare. Now in economic welfare, I think I'm thirsty now, so never mind, let us continue. Nationalization of banks. What is nationalization of banks? The transfer of a major branch or of industry or commerce from private to state ownership, is called nationalization. So nationalization of banks, insurance companies and some key industries, key means important industries, have been done to ensure that the ownership of the material resources of the community are so distributed so as to obtain best service of common good. That means the benefit that one gets from such banks and industries, it is distributed. Who is benefited at the most? The general mass as such, and not just a few people. Then, in order to ensure just payment to workers and equal pay for equal work, the payment of wages is governed by the government. So the government has fixed that for a certain job, a person, it can be a non-skilled job, a skilled job, semi-skilled job. So there are certain guidelines provided by the government according to which a government organization or a private organization is supposed to pay their employees. Now, which has enacted legislation to the effect that the payment be made according to the Minimum Wages Act 1948 as amended from time to time. So, right now in government organizations and private organizations also, people who can, they are paying 7th pay commission. So next is Ayushman Bharat Yojana. This was introduced recently and it is a centrally sponsored by the Union Ministry or by the Government of India, which is a health scheme launched in 2018. It is an umbrella of two major health initiatives, namely, what do you understand by umbrella over here? Covers. What is it? Health and Wellness Centers and National Health Protection Scheme. The scheme will cover 10 crore poor and vulnerable families, providing coverage up to 5 lakh rupees in case they fall sick. So what is the coverage? Insurance coverage over here, 5 lakh. 8 they will get per family per year for secondary and tertiary. Secondary, tertiary is third and level care hospitalization. So up till 5 lakh rupees aid they will get from the government. Now benefits of the scheme are portable across the country, and a beneficiary covered under the scheme will be allowed to take cashless benefits from any public or private empaneled hospitals across the country. Portable across the country, meaning to say this applies to anybody across the country. They might be resident of some other place, but they can make use of this particular scheme in any part of the country, in any public or private empaneled hospitals. This is important, that the particular hospital should be empaneled with that, for that scheme. Now the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana was launched on 13th January 2016. Now, what does it tells us? Under the scheme, farmers will have to pay a uniform premium. Premium is the amount of money of 2% for all Kharif crops and 1.5% for all Rabi crops. Before we go further, let us understand why. Why will the farmers pay premium? Now see children, in case of a natural calamity, locust or something, if the crop is destroyed, then the farmer will be able to claim insurance from the government or from any financial institution with which they have insured their crop. This is the 2% for Kharif and 1.5% for all Rabi crops. Now for annual commercial and horticulture crops, farmers will have to pay a premium of 5%. So for different crops, the premium paid will be different. The remaining share of the premium will be borne equally by the center and the respective state governments. Now what happens, children, over here the large scale farmers, they are also paying the same amount and they get a better benefit than the ones who are small scale farmers. Now under PMFBY there is no upper limit on government's subsidy, and even if balance premium is 90%, it will be borne by the government. No subsidy, no concession is given. The scheme also provides farm level assessment for localized calamities including hailstorm, see what I was talking about, unseasonal rains, landslides and inundation. So inundation over here is flooding. Now please underline all that. A social upliftment scheme called the Jan Dhan Yojana was announced by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 15th August 2014. Now let us see what this scheme has in store for the people in general. Bank accounts. Under this scheme, bank accounts have been opened for the poor. Each account has a life insurance cover of rupees 30,000. So in case of unnatural demise, so each individual will be paid 30,000, adding to the 1 lakh accidental insurance benefit already available under the account. So in totality, in case of any mishap, they get 1,30,000. Now the account is accompanied with a RuPay enabled debit card. It is not a credit card, it is a debit card. This scheme is aimed at improving the lives of millions of India's poor by bringing them into the financial mainstream and freeing them from the clutches of money lenders while giving them the benefit of insurance cover. Now, when the government is going all out to help these poor, they do not need to go to any money lender where they end up paying a large amount or they end up paying large interest on the amount of money that they borrow, and they are always struggling to pay the initial amount. By January 13, 2016, over 20 crore bank accounts were opened and 301.08 billion were deposited under the scheme. Now the government has launched various programs such as Integrated Rural Development Program and Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program to help the poor. MG Narega, this is in short form MG Narega 2005, seeks to provide 100 days of guaranteed wage employment to rural households, that they will get so much of money for 100 days. Out of 365 days in a year, they are entitled to 100 days of wages. National Food Security Act was passed by the Parliament on September 12 and is called the National Food Security Act 2013. This act provides for food and national security by ensuring access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable prices to people. Now, you must have heard about the rationing shops, which is where you need to have a ration card and the number of family members over there. Your annual income is noted over there, and it is generally to help out the poor. Now then we have 75% of rural and 50% of the urban population entitled to 5 kilograms of food grains per person per month at rupees 3 to 1 kg for rice, wheat and coarse grains respectively. So on this ration card, all this is available, or under the National Food Security Act, where you need to have the ration card, all this is available. Pregnant women and lactating mothers entitled to nutritious meals and maternity benefit of at least 6,000 for 6 months. So these are the provisions that are made in this National Food Security Act. The central government will provide funds to states in case of short supply of food grains. So the state can always look up to the central government for help during certain calamities. The state governments will provide food security allowance to beneficiaries in case of non-supply of food grains. So in case no food grain is there, so some kind of allowance will be given to beneficiaries. Who are beneficiaries? People who stand to benefit from certain schemes. Now, public distribution system to be reformed. The eldest woman in the household, 18 years above, will be the head of the household for the issue of the ration card. So, it is not the ration card, see, I told you about it, is not made out in the name of the father, but the eldest woman in the family. Eldest woman, somebody who is 18 years or above. There will be state and district level redress mechanisms. Now, children, the rest is not so important. We can do foreign policy over here in order to promote international peace and security. India is opposed to colonialism and racialism and has helped many countries to win their freedom. India supported the cause of South Africa against apartheid. Now, India is law-abiding. It respects international law. It has stood for settlement of international issues by mutual understanding. India holds the policy of complete disarmament, that is, nobody should carry any kind of arms, especially nuclear arms, and has been firm against all the attempts of some powerful countries for partial disarmament. Partial means that some kind of arms they will have, and from some mass weapons of mass destruction especially will not be maintained by any country. So this chapter was all about the directives, principles, and the welfare. What do you understand by welfare state? With this we come to the end of the chapter. I want you to give it a thorough reading. If there is something which you have not understood, we will take it up again when the school reopens, and shortly ma'am will be uploading the answers to this particular chapter. Please look out for it, and within time please make sure that you write down the answers in your fair notebooks. Thank you.